Okay, perfect. So let me go back to the slide. All right. So I guess I'll just start. All right, guys,
Yeah,
welcome to our first episode, or I guess our first show. Um, while everyone's playing with ChatGPT, playing with those common AI tools, there are smart businesses out there that are building 100K a month businesses using the AI tools, workflows, and specifically what we're going to get into is a term AI agents. You might have heard that out there. People might have thrown that term around. What are AI agents? Why you need to know about them, and what can they do for your business? That is what we're going to learn here in the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Hopefully, we'll keep it under, Rob. So, my name is Sumit Harish. I have spent about the past 10 years in sales in many different sales departments, leading sales teams, working high level ticket sales. My partner Rob's over here. How you doing, Rob?
great. Yeah. My background is machine learning. I went into data engineering, and through that, when I saw the AI boom blow up, I was like, "Oh my God, it's happening." I
Right.
really had to see where everything was going. So for the past about 2 years, yeah, I've been building AI solutions and AI automations and just trying to see how far we can really stretch uh talking to the machine, I guess.
Awesome, man. Well, why don't we get dive right in? And, guys, if you guys have any questions, leave it in the comments below. This is on YouTube. If you guys need to reach us, there'll probably be an email for you guys to reach us if you have any specific questions or find us on LinkedIn. But let's dive in. So, AI agents. So there's a huge AI implementation gap. Right now, the surface problem is that everybody knows that AI is the future. We're all talking about it. But the hidden problem right now is that nobody knows really how to leverage it to its maximum power, right? A lot of people have ChatGPT, they'll open it up, ask a couple of questions, or they have Claude or Google. But the real problem is that those are just generic tools and they're great starting points, but how can you take those tools and actually implement it in your business to cause, massive efficiency, cost savings, and just basically 10xing the speed that you move in right now. So, what we're going to be talking about is that box on the right side over here is custom AI agents, right? These are custom bots using the LLM, which of your choice, but creating workflows to replace common tasks that you already do or that you task your employees to do in your business on a day-to-day basis, right? Any comments on that, Rob?
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, so everybody uses ChatGPT. It's kind of like, a glorified autofill word correct, right?
Right.
So when you give custom AI agents, what gives it the big difference is when you give it context of your business, when you give it the prompting to really go through the context of your business, it just becomes next level superpowered. Like you're really talking to something that can really understand like the plight that you guys are going through or the direction that you need to be going based off
100%.
that.
100%, man. So why most AI implementations that people do fail? It's primarily because a lot of people are just implementing other people's solutions, so cookie cutter solutions. And when it comes to AI, obviously not every business is one size fits all. Every business is unique. Everybody's business is unique. So the solution has to be implemented in a unique way. Number two, there's obviously no process optimization. AI on broken processes, even though it's powerful, it's just going to fail a lot faster if you haven't time tested it out, if you haven't really checked out the flow, the process that you're implementing when implementing an AI agent. And then for most people, they love, Zapier has been kind of the automation tool for a lot of businesses prior to, AI agents. People will set up a Zap. I've been guilty of that as well too. I've set up a Zap and I just like never look at it ever, and that's really
Set
not
it
the
and
way
forget it.
to
Yeah.
set it and forget it. Exactly. So that's not the way we need to look at AI agents. We really truly need to understand that these are evolving technologies in your business. And as you continue to train it, which is a period of time, they will get better. As you train it, as you tweak it, it will
Yeah.
learn faster and it will make your business better. And that's really what we're going to show you and get into later on in this presentation here today.
Yeah, and basically just like augmenting the systems that you already have, right? So like training the AI, your system, and what works for your business. And that's basically where the customization comes in, right?
Exactly. Exactly. So moving on here, introducing AI sales operator. So what is an AI sales operator? So just think about it. Imagine like what if your AI just didn't answer questions, but actually it sold for you. It actually did a lot of the tasks, and as a salesperson, there are a lot of tasks, right? There are the SDR task of actually getting the data, prepping the data, uploading that into your CRM. Then there's a task of formulating your custom templates and your messages because you have to test A, B, C, multivariate test what message is going to work pretty well for my reply rate to be really well, and get people to reply back. Then there's the constant of going after the lead. And then once you're on a call with them, maybe you have to send them some information post that call. After that, maybe there's a closing process and a follow-up process until you get the sale done. So all of these things are different processes in the sales process. And so what we're looking to do and what we try to preach here is a custom build for your specific situation, your specific process. What we have found is iteratively optimizing over the next 6 to 12 months, which is a normal. You need about 6 to 12 months to really truly kind of work out all the kinks and iron out all the issues in your AI agent, but it on day one, it's already saving you time. It's just getting better as we learn more from it. And it's also working 24/7, guys. If you want it to work 24/7, you can have it work at certain hours of the day. And you can have multiple of these, right? Integrating into your existing workflows, which is extremely important point because a lot of people think that installing an AI agent is just going to save the day, but we do need to take the time to analyze your existing process if you have one. Because the way you do things is the way we're going to train the AI agent to do it just more accurately, just more faster, just more robust if an AI agent's doing it. But again, what you're already doing, if it's working, we do need to document that so we know how to replicate that. Is that kind of
Absolutely.
your understanding, Rob, when you're creating AI
Yeah,
agents?
absolutely. Yeah. Uh, if I could share my screen, part of the customization process is really getting all of that data.
Hmm.
And so how we set it up is with a RAG database. Can you see what I'm showing?
Let me make you sure you can share your screen. See if you can share your screen now.
All right, sure. Yep, there we go. All
Perfect.
right. So what we set up on the back end of all these custom AI agents is really where I find the most power to come from. As you say, we iterate over 6 to 12 months. And part of that process is this process right here, where we're feeding all sorts of data into a database, all segmented in a really powerful way with metadata that just allows you to talk like a human would to your data and just ask it questions and have it be currently up to date and just give you all the answers that you're looking for. So in this specific case, we equipped it with the ability to do web searches on your competitors and just file all their offerings or like their advertising that they're doing really well. We can take YouTube videos and transcripts from those and feed it into the database. Airtable, Google Drive documents, and sheets that you have, and all of it passes through code in a way that uh, inserts the data into the database in a way that allows you to talk to it with much more pinpoint accuracy. So we have a text classifier here that basically says, hey, this is this kind of data. We're going to push it to this segment of the database. So you can imagine it being like your ICP or a product offering that you have or a specific marketing campaign that you ran. And then you just talk to your data like you would to a human, to another person, it will switch out a prompt based on those segments that you set up, and the AI agent will just dig through all that data in a really fine-combed way using memory that gets better over time because it learns over off the context of how you're using the database and how you want to use it. So it's like, yeah, the customization options are just insane, you know?
That's amazing. So just to kind of break that down a little bit for because it was a little technical, and so I want to make sure that
Yeah,
everybody
it's a
still
little
is following
overwhelming.
us. So like, what we were looking at there for those of you that didn't know, if maybe you could pull that diagram back up. I know we
Oh,
can't
yeah,
see all the
sure.
details, but just kind of talking on a macro level. And again, this is from, on a simpleton, there's a lot more going on behind the scenes, but essentially you have a workflow that you input all of your existing data, parameters, whatever's native to your business. That's going into the database. So that way that's referenced by the AI, which is whether you use ChatGPT or Claude or whatever LLM you choose to use, is because it needs to be powered by an LLM. As Rob said earlier in this call, and we were talking about
Mhm.
generic tools, all LLMs do is just paste things together, right? It's a
Yeah.
glorified pasting tool almost, right? But with logic. So now if you're
Yeah.
glorifyingly pasting relevant information of your business, alongside the power of what it already knows in its brain now, and then obviously you're connecting it with different apps through its API. Now all of these things can talk to each other and eventually output the task that you're looking for it to do. Does that somewhat make sense, Robin? Did I
Yeah,
explain that correctly?
absolutely. So it's like an invisible thread across all your outreach efforts. Like in our case, we also use voice AI. So it automatically just stores all of that data. And then it has the ability, the AI, the LLM has the ability to detect the intent of what happened on that phone call through the chatbot, through that text message that was incoming into your business, and just be able to segment it in a way where at the end of the week, you can be like, what's the end of week report? What were people saying before they bought? What were people saying before they hung up? Just very valuable information like that to feed into your next marketing campaign or into your next sales call script. Yeah, just
Yeah.
super
And
powerful information
And,
like that.
and think about that, guys. So, like before, as a marketer, you would have a chat bot, or let's just say, you would have an email questionnaire that you would ask people questions to find out more about your data so you can segment them better to have somewhat of a better conversation. Now, in real time, actual conversations, we're tagging the actual conversation with different data points and meta tags, so now we have a very robust understanding and intent and psychological intent of that user that's being saved into the database. So now that segmentation or
Absolutely.
whatever campaigns you build off of that data will be just a lot more robust than what we used to do with just, splitting people into what their answer for their question was, so to say. So it's just a lot more intuitive, essentially.
Yeah. And obviously, when you start out, you don't want to like let the AI just take the reins and steer your business, right? We set up like guardrails as well so that we make sure that you're getting input as well as what decisions the AI are making. So you just say yes or no to whether or not you agree with the decisions that it makes. And then once you've done that enough times and it's showing you that, oh, it's working like 99% of the time now, I don't really have to say yes anymore. You hand it off to the AI to be able to take care of all those decisions, right?
Got you.
Yeah,
Very cool. Awesome.
that's a iterative process right there.
It is. It is. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, kind of going back to the presentation, to implement a lot of this stuff, it's going to be a three-phase implementation normally. That's kind of how we kind of look at how we can help businesses, how we've helped our own internal business. First we have to do the deep dive, the analysis, right? We told, hold your hand, we look at your business, we write down all the processes just to know what we can use AI agents for, what would make sense to use AI agents for, and what would not make sense to use AI agents for. On top of that, we want to architect the actual workflow. That's going to be the other part of the equation that's going to take a little bit of time. But we workflow, we list out every single thing that we need to have done in your business in our tools. And then from there, we accelerate weekly optimization based on real-time feedback. So as things happen in your business, we are learning every single minute, every single hour, every single day, and we're just tweaking that a little bit better because it's going to make mistakes. It's nothing is perfect on day one, but normally by like month three, month four, when we got the process going, when we got things, tools go moving, that's really when we start to see massive results. Just from your experience, Rob, like how do you find kind of the implementation phase of building a lot of these AI agents for clients?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, getting the builds up these days is pretty fast. So, like, the more fascinating stage is definitely the acceleration where you're really taking that real-time data and you're feeding the machine what it needs to be able to make those right decisions, right?
Hmm.
That to me is probably the most effective way. Like getting up the bots and running is, yeah, the first phase, you got to get the prompting right. But once we start with like simple prompts and then we start getting real data, we can feed that real data into the prompting as well so that it just iteratively gets better. We hold the AI's hands until it can do its own thing, right?
Right. It makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense. Perfect. So, the three areas that, you could use AI agents for a lot of different businesses, but the three types of businesses that we've found a lot of success with, that we have experience with, and that we've helped are real estate agents, B2B SaaS companies, as well as high ticket consultants. Someone that's selling a high ticket offer, if you're an online coach, consultant, you probably have a sales process. You probably have a sales team, most likely, that you're chasing after, that you're telling them to put their data into a sheet so you can really measure their KPIs. As a B2B SaaS person, you too have to figure out your sales process. You probably have to do a lot of demos, a lot of follow-ups. Things can get lost in the follow-up process. And then, of course, as a real estate agent, you just need to get more deals on the table, right? There's a lot of outreach, a lot of follow up. And this is kind of where sales agents or AI agents are going to really help you. It's with that initial touch point, it's with scraping data to just keep that data flow going in the prospecting, cold outreach. It's the follow up that it does for you, it's the listening to conversations and creating a proposal. I found that a pretty fascinating feature recently that Rob mentioned to me that we implemented recently in a client's business. So a lot of these features will save you time, will even empower your current salespeople or possibly replace your current salespeople. Um, what have you found, Rob, in working with some of these clients? Any key points to share?
Yeah, for the most part, it's really about augmenting what they can really do and removing the friction from their day-to-day tasks, right? So like
Mm,
giving them more power to have more creativity and do like more human work, right? So they're not encoding or like manually writing in stuff all day. They have more time to be like, what's a creative way to find new prospects? Or what's a better way that we could feed something into the AI that would help us market better, you know?
right,
Things of that nature for sure.
right. Fair enough. So the other key thing right now, even though AI is brand new, this is moving at breakneck speeds, right? It's almost
Yeah.
like every single week I open my computer up. What I learned last week, I got to replace it because something else new popped up out there.
Scary fast, yeah.
It's super stupid fast. But so the AI adoption curve is at a perfect inflection point. Right now, like in any new technology, early movers will dominate the playing field, right? So for the next 5 years, as a lot of this stuff comes online, AI agents is an extremely new concept. Not even a lot of businesses are doing it. Probably a couple of thousand businesses have even heard about it and they're trying to implement it, right? So we're still in the early phase, but just kind of knowing how this is going to scale. If you look at this graph here that we're sharing, the cost of delaying of getting into AI agents is going to make you're going to spend more money, which I'm sure you don't want to do that. You want to save money. You want to be as competitive as your next competitor. So if your competitors are using it, they're just going to be moving 10 times faster. There's no way
Absolutely.
you can catch up. Even if you are well funded, hiring another 50 salespeople is not going to help you catch up to a business that might have five people and they're just moving a lot more nimble. So,
Yeah,
so early adopters are going to get rewarded. 6 months from now, it's going to get harder. A year from now, it's going to even be harder. 2 years and so forth. So really acting now, doing, the tests, rolling up your sleeve and getting involved in the space, even though it might sound over your head, just kind of getting a head check as to what you possibly can use and, what I kind of say is agentify your business. I think it's important. I think if you don't do it,
absolutely.
you'll absolutely be left behind, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean,
Right?
that's the thing, right? A lot of people are saying like, oh, it's all just hype, right? But once upon a time, the internet was hype. What it is it's a tool that can really help you when you understand what it can offer your business. When you understand what kind of parts of your business can you really automate or just leave to the tool, right?
Right,
So,
right.
yeah, it is hype right now, and a lot of people are hyping it up, but there are definitely huge use cases on a base-to-base method, right? I mean, basis,
Abs-
right?
Absolutely. And I was hearing, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and a lot of people are, and again, on every topic about AI, that's like, they're talking about how it's going to replace all the jobs, how you're going to lose your job. I mean,
Yeah,
listen, the jobs that it's going to replace are jobs that humans don't need to do. They should go do something else, right? So
right.
use your time
Exactly.
wisely. There's probably a lot of other tasks in the business that now someone can allocate you because I heard someone say difficult tasks will become easier. Extremely difficult tasks will become harder, and impossible tasks will just become a lot harder to accomplish. Just meaning that the level of difficulty just goes down like one or two notches by using AI agents. So
Yeah,
things become more possible. So what's really going to happen, even when we install AI agents in businesses, is there's still humans needed in the process. It's not like you don't need humans, but what you need to look at AI agents and AI as it's something to empower your employees. Even with software
yeah,
development, AI can code software, but it would 10x the output of your software developer. It's not that you're
exactly.
going to get rid of your software developer. So look at it
Yeah,
like your salespeople. You might have 10 salespeople. Sure, maybe you only need five, but those five will be 5 to 10x more productive than your 10 would ever have been. Right. And so that's
yeah,
the way to look at it's not really a replacement per se of a particular department. It's the accenting of the productivity and efficiency of that individual employee in your business. Right.
definitely.
Um,
It's about their creativity and their problem solving at the end of the day. That's going to really matter.
right.
And equipped with tools like this, it's like, exponential.
100%. So your custom AI sales operator. So myself and Rob, we've set up a agency, AI sales operators. Our focus, our goal is to implement AI agents in small businesses, businesses that we kind of laid out there, real estate agents, SaaS businesses, as well as high ticket coaching businesses. But what we want to do before we implement any agent, right? Because not everybody needs it, right? If you're doing less than 100K a year annually, maybe you don't need it yet. Maybe there's just some basic stuff you have to figure out. It may not be worth it for your business. But again, if you want to know where it would fit into your business, we're going to do a full business process analysis. That goes without saying. We have to do that to see if you qualify, if it makes sense for you. When we are working together, we are weekly working together to optimize your agent, have our weekly meetings, see what we need to improve so that way your agent works the way you need it to work. Um, we basically are developing not just one, but multiple agents, right? So imagine
Yeah,
having a swarm of agents doing a lot of the tasks in your business. So those things do take time, which is why we have that 6 month to 12-month mark of partnership. And what we're offering, though, because there's a lot of people that are non-believers, is a 7-day trial to see if you qualify for the 7-day trial. So if your business, if it makes sense and we know we can make a massive impact, We will install an AI agent and you will see for yourself the impact that something like an AI agent can do for your business, right? And if you don't see it, 7 days, you didn't lose anything,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
So I always try to bring it to this slide. A lot of people are thinking, well, what are my two paths forward? Where should I go from here? This was a lot of information. Well, one thing I can say is if you do nothing with this information, at least after today's call, you know that AI agents exist. And we're going to go into much more in depth on certain AI agents in our next couple of episodes that we're going to do here. But really, you have path A. You just want to keep using your AI tools, paying your 20 bucks a month or whatever you do for ChatGPT and use it. And a lot of people do use it and they leverage it and they're doing well with that. But if you want to see what AI can do and how it can take your business to the next level, getting a custom AI agent to replace certain processes, it is the new way to build your business efficiently in today's market, right? And to see how and what we can do for you, we just need to book a phone call and get on a phone with myself or Rob, and we will do the rest. We will look at your business and we will tell you right there whether we can help you or whether it doesn't make any sense for you, right? Because we want to steer you in the right path. We don't want to have you come in if you're not prepared or your business is not prepared and waste a lot of time, energy, and money, right? So getting that quick analysis that with our tools that we can do that within a quick 15, 20-minute phone call, that's what we're offering here. And if you qualify, you could probably get an AI agent installed in your business. What is it, Rob? It takes about like a week to install
Yeah,
something, right?
exactly. A week to
Okay.
get up and running, sure.
Awesome. So a week, guys. It just takes 1 week. Um, so again, why listen to us? We're not theorists here. We actually do this stuff. We have if you check out our YouTube channel, we have a couple of videos that we're uploading there on the processes that we're doing. So you can check that out to get more in-depth and understanding about how we do it. We're building in the public, so everything that we build for our internal company, as the things go well, we're going to post it out there so people can learn from it. And again, we're selective, right? We want to make sure that you can use the AI agent and benefit from it. And then we can gather a case study showing the impact so other business owners can know how they can use AI
Yeah.
agents in their business, right? So we're still, again, we're in the beginning stages. We are looking to make sure we make an impact with other businesses. So getting case studies is vital right now. So hence why we are having a 7-day free trial offer at the moment. Maybe later on, we probably won't be doing that once it starts picking up. So, as they say, act while the iron is hot, you know. So
Absolutely.
awesome, man. Well, do you have any other parting words, Rob, like to kind of tell where we're going with this or any other diagrams to show these people and kind of see what's possible?
Um, I guess basically it's the use case, right? It's always the use case of the agent and what is the biggest pain point or the bottleneck in your business right now, right? So, AKA that first 7 days is probably enough time to find that main bottleneck. But how I theorize about using these agents, like let's say we have an appointment setter agent set up, or like a lead capture or lead enriching agent set up, the greatest value is finding a way to connect them to each other, right? So that during the flow of people coming into your business, they're getting enriched in multiple stages and then reaching a point in time where they're booking calls into your calendar or things of that nature, making sales for you, right? So it's not just about fixing that one bottleneck, it's about chaining multiple things together and using agents to do that. So yeah, I guess on the next call we could go through a process like that. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I think common bot that a lot of people have implemented is the appointment setting bot. A lot of people are looking for appointments out there. They're looking to book appointments in their calendar. We can go through that bot as well too, alongside maybe in the same video if we have time, the follow-up bot. And what we're going to be doing, guys, is every single week we're going to try to release 2 episodes, go through a bot, get a little bit more technical with you guys, people that want to learn this stuff. And if you again our doors open. If you want to have an analysis, if what makes sense in your business, what type of bot, and sometimes the type of bot that you need may not be a particular bot that we have somewhat built. It might be a custom bot we have to build from scratch for your process. So again, I throw this out there. One guy was asking me like, what other things can bots do for sales? I was like, well, let's say you're selling a car and people are making comments about this car on somebody else's post that has a car channel. So we can program the bot to look at that car channel, and every single time someone makes a comment about that car, they're just taking their information, then going to maybe Sales Navigator, finding and enriching that data, the email address,
Yeah.
phone numbers, then putting that into an email, then prospecting them with an email that it sends out. If they reply back to you, then it's the appointment setting bot that kicks in. So again, you can just see how creative you can get with these bots,
Yeah.
right? I want people to like expand their mind that it's not just some standard bot that everybody's going to have, appointment setting bot. It could be something unique like that, right? So there's the possibilities are endless. It's really just left up to your imagination at the end of the day. So
Yeah. Absolutely.
awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks, Rob, and thanks, guys, for listening. And
No
hopefully, you
worries.
found this informative and helpful. And we look forward to seeing you in the next video, guys. Thanks.
Thank
Take
you
care.
guys.